Amazon's Secret Level is really good. Or at least the Space Marine episode is, anyway. So I've only watched the Space Marine 2 episode, or the Space Marine episode, because quite frankly the other stuff doesn't interest me. I don't care about Sifu, I don't care about Dungeons and Dragons, I don't care about Armored Core, although that one does look cool, so I might check that one out tonight after this video. But no, I watched Amazon's episode on Space Marine on Secret Level. 19 minutes, about 15 of which is actual footage. The rest is kind of the intro and outro scenes. And yeah, set directly after the events of Space Marine 2's campaign. Titus is in it. That's not news, everybody knows that. Really good. Now, I'm not here to kind of talk in depth about it, because honestly, there's not a lot of story to it. Like, you've got to remember, Secret Level is an anthology series, so they're not really like big deep stories. They're more so like really short ones. For example, the Sifu episode's only 10 minutes, so some of it is quite short. But no, I wanted to make a video on it because I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really cool. Essentially, to kind of summarise, it's set after the events of Space Marine 2. It's a suicide mission, essentially. The projected mortality rate is absolute, so these 4 Space Marines are pretty much guaranteed to not come back. They are going onto a Chaos planet, or at least a planet that's been corrupted by Chaos, because there's cultists all over the place, to destroy a sorcerer, is my understanding, of Tzeentch. It's a statue, there's a demon or something in it, and it's a lot of cool combat scenes, a really cool ending. 2 of the Marines do unfortunately not make it. Titus obviously does, although the ending is quite ambiguous. And it's very interesting that we get to meet essentially the person that chose Titus to become a Space Marine. Murus, Sergeant Murus, chose Titus as a neophyte. He is about 400 years old, judging by the golden service studs in his head. So he's about double Titus's age. And he kind of narrates some little bits about choosing a child that knows no fear, and what kind of a soul a person like that would become. This is in reference to Demirian Titus, the main protagonist of Space Marine 1 and 2. Essentially, Murus is saying that he chose Titus because this is a child that has never known fear, is not afraid of anything, and he essentially picked him because he wondered how far someone like that would go. Now, obviously, we know as a player that Titus has some form of resistance to the warp anyway, so there's a good theory and a good chance that that's why he was sent on this mission. But for those of you that have completed Space Marine 2's campaign, you will know that Lord Calgar does state that it was the chaplain that recommended Titus for this mission, the chaplain being Leandros, who obviously does not like Titus. So it's either because he's slightly warp resistant that they sent him to deal with this shenanigans, or he was simply nominated because Leandros is just looking for another way to get rid of him because he doesn't like the fact that he's not a heretic and he's pissed off that he was wrong. Now, like I said, that's not... honestly, that kind of summarises everything that happens. Most of it is just combat scenes, and they're done beautifully. It's some of the coolest Space Marine content I've ever seen personally. A lot of people are comparing it to a project called Astartes. Now, I personally have not watched Astartes. I know it was fan-made and it's meant to be very good, and I will be checking it out in the coming weeks. I can't compare, unfortunately, because I've not watched it myself. But it's really cool. It's a really cool way to get people into Space Marines as well. If they don't really understand what's going on, because it's not heavy on the story, more heavy on the showing you what they are and what they can do. It's really well done. The armor looks beautiful. The combat scenes are incredibly well done and so cool. And honestly, I just wanted to kind of make a video gushing about it because it was really good. Now, in the video you're watching, you will notice that I'm using Space Marine 2 gameplay that I've reused time and again. I wanted to use Secret Level footage. I really wanted to, but I'm honestly petrified that Amazon are going to immediately hit me with a copyright strike, even if I only used it in sections of this video and like used other stuff alongside it. I'm petrified they're just going to come down on me like a ton of bricks. And as a small creator, it's honestly not something I'm willing to risk. It's just not worth it. If you want to watch Secret Level, obviously it's on Amazon Prime. That's the only place you can watch it. I don't know about the other episodes. I don't know if they are any good, all the games on the other series, because I've not watched them. I might do in my spare time, but I won't be making a video on them because I'm not interested enough. But the Space Marine 2 episode They Shall Know No Fear is absolutely incredible. It is one of the coolest pieces of Space Marine media that I've ever seen. Like, I love playing the game, and I'm hoping to get into the tabletop in the new year properly. But honestly, Secret Levels episode on them is absolutely phenomenal. The armor looks incredible, like I said, and the combat's really, really, really cool. And it's really nice to kind of see Titus again. It's kind of nice to get a little bit of, not so much closure, but it's nice to see what happened after the events of Space Marine 2. Now, obviously, like I said, the ending is left quite ambiguous. Essentially, it's only Titus and the sergeant that chose him left. The sergeant is bleeding quite badly, and the other two Marines are at this point dead. And there are a significant amount of cultists that are coming after them. His sergeant, Murus, does state to him their duty's done, it's time to go, essentially stating, like, this is it. You know, there is an orbital bombardment on its way as well. That was the other reason they were sent to the planet, to essentially mark the coordinates so they could strike it. At least that's my understanding. And even then, Titus is ready to just face the onslaught by himself. He literally says, like, something like, "Not today, old man," which is a reference to what he called the geezer as a child. Because there's a quote he says, which is, "Get out of my way, old man," or something of that nature. So it's quite ambiguous. We don't actually know. First of all, it doesn't look like Sergeant Murus is going to make it. He's bleeding quite profusely from his abdomen, I think, or his chest, wherever he was stabbed. And he's out for the count. He's not combat ready. He's on his leg. He's on his, not his knees, but he's like sat down, and he's like trying not to bleed out essentially. And obviously the only other Marine is Titus. So honestly, I highly doubt they're going to kill him off. Highly doubt they're going to be like in the third Space Marine game. They're going to be like, "Oh yeah, Demirian Titus died on that planet. Oopsies." I don't think they would kill him off outside of the games. I feel like that would be really disrespectful to the character. But I don't think his sergeant's going to make it, personally. Again, it's been left mostly ambiguous. We don't really know, because that's when the episode ends, and that's all we get. And as it is an anthology series, we're not going to get another episode. We're not going to get a follow-up to show like what happened. So that's all we are going to get. So fingers crossed Titus lives. Fingers crossed Sergeant Murus lives as well, because he seems like quite an interesting character. It would be quite interesting to see him in-game and kind of fight alongside the person that chose Titus as a neophyte in-game. That would be quite interesting. But honestly, it's been left ambiguous, so there's no way for us to kind of know for certain. But yeah, Secret Level, I don't know about the rest of the show itself, but the Space Marine episode, They Shall Know No Fear, is really good. If you've never kind of been into Warhammer, or you've been thinking about getting into it but you didn't really know where to start, and you didn't really want to invest in the minis, and you didn't really want to invest in the game like Space Marine 2 or anything either, honestly, I would just recommend watching the Secret Level episode, and then if that gets you excited, then, you know, delve into the world more. There's lots of stuff online as well, like things like fandom, if you want to like read up on the lore instead, and it's free. Fandom's completely free as well. I've used that a lot recently when I've been reading about Warhammer and just learning about different stuff that's not kind of in the mainline games. But no, the episode is really, really, really well done. From start to finish, it's just absolutely incredible. It really captures the atmosphere of the 40k universe, and how, you know, there's always going to be that emphasis on the grim dark. You know, the episode ends on a really hopeless note, where it's only two Space Marines, one who's very, very wounded, against an onslaught of cultists. And it's just really cool. The visuals are good, the combat is good, the soundtrack to the episode is really good. The story isn't bad, it's just not a lot of it, but again, it's an anthology series. You don't expect there to be a lot of story when it's only short, quick episodes that are all on different things. So I kind of understand that as well. But it's really, really, honestly, it's just really cool. There's the best way to describe it. It's just awesome. So I really, really recommend it if you've been thinking about trying to get into Space Marines or Warhammer in general, and you're looking for something to watch or just get into or have a nose. I honestly really recommend it. It's so cool. And it's just such a fun 19 minutes to just spend watching. And that's the other thing. It's only 19 minutes. You know, it's about 50 minutes of actual content in the episode. So, you know, it's not like you're going to have to take out days and days to, like, binge watch a series. You can just sit down, watch it in half an hour, and then you're done. That's it. So it's just a quite nice, quick snippet thing. But, yeah, that's honestly all I really wanted to say. Amazon Secret Level, the Space Marine episode, They Shall Know No Fear. Really, really good. Highly recommend. And it's just awesome. I really recommend watching it. As for the rest of the series, I don't know. I might watch it, but I don't know 100%. I might have a nose. Some of them I might, not all of them, because some of them don't really interest me at all. Some of them kind of do. But I recommend watching the Space Marine one. But that's enough for me. Just a nice short one this week, because as you guys may have seen on the channel, I've got a lot going on right now. My partner's fractured the back of her leg. Now my car needs an oil change and it needs an MOT, and I'm working and stuff as well. So it's a bit of a shorter video, so I do apologise for that. And with Christmas coming up as well, and I've got stuff to sort for that. There's just a lot going on at the moment, but I didn't want to skip 2 weeks in a row of no content, because that's not fair to you guys. All I ask is you just bear with me a little bit. If the videos aren't as long or aren't as in-depth and they feel a little bit quicker, it is on purpose. It's so I can still get content out, but so I can still manage the stuff going on in my life at the same time without completely taking a full-on break, because my worry is if I take a full-on break, I'll never come back to it then, because I just get, thrown away with everything. I just get too caught up in everything else. So, bit of a shorter one. I apologise for that, and I hope you guys understand. There's just a lot going on at the moment. If you did enjoy the video, I always ask leave a like. If you can subscribe, that would be great. And share the stuff around as well. I'll see you all in a week's time next Friday. I don't know what the video is going to be about yet. I've got nothing planned, but I'll have a think. Hope you have a good day, evening, or night. And as always, guys, take care of yourselves. And I will see you all in next week's video. Have a good one.